So today we're going to be talking about Magic Missile,
Yes.
one of the most popular spells in D&D and most widely debated. A week ago I asked everyone on Twitter, do they roll for each dart or do they roll once and multiply that for every dart they get? And it was really interesting because everybody seemed to have a different interpretation of what the rules as written are. So Todd.
Yes, Megan?
What is your preferred way of casting Magic Missile?
Yeah, so I've been playing since first edition, and I had never really thought this hard about Magic Missile. And I now have a new preferred way, which is going to be heresy to a lot of people out there. And as it turns out, rules is written, you only roll 1d4, and that determines the damage for each one of those missiles. And I know.
Say it ain't so.
I know. And so I kind of want to do it that way now. I know a lot of people out there like to roll. Obviously, I think a lot of people are still going to roll a 1d4 for every instance for each missile, but I'm not doing it unless my DM, makes me.
I think it's really good for time management. So if you have a ton of targets that you're hitting, it's great if there's a lot of people at your table. If you want to just roll once, multiply it by how many darts you have, I think that's fine. I think a lot of people really prefer to use their dice. My fellow dice hoarders, they like to hear the clickety-clackety sound.
Right.
And it's just fun for them, and I think that's okay too.
And certainly for like a live play show, if you want to move combat along very quickly, like Magic Missile is not that time intensive in terms of how many dice you have to roll. But you start out with 3 darts for Magic Missile, first level spell. This is one of the most famous D&D spells ever. And you roll a 1d4 and you add a +1, and that's the damage all the darts do. Now, almost everyone, as I said, is probably been playing it a different way. They've been rolling a 1d4 for each one of these missiles. But there's a reason why this is like this. And Jeremy Crawford, who makes the rules for D&D, did chime in on this on Twitter some time ago, as it turns out. And the way Magic Missile is worded is that all targets are hit all at the same time, and that because of that, there is a section in the player's handbook that deals with this type of situation, and it applies to Magic Missile in a very weird way. So
yeah, can you read that to us?
Yeah, if you go to page 196 of the player's handbook, it says, if a spell or other effect deals damage to more than one target at the same time, which would be Magic Missile, roll the damage once for all of them. That's a big deal. For example, when a wizard casts Fireball or a cleric will cast Flame Strike, the spell's damage is rolled once for all creatures caught in that blast. That applies, again, rules is written, to Magic Missile.
Right.
So if you're upcasting Magic Missile and you're rolling, you're shooting 5 darts, you only roll the 1d4 once. And that applies to the damage of every one of those darts. Even if you make them all hit one target or 5 different targets, 1 dice. That's the rule. Do I think people are going to be converted? No.
No.
Do I think people think I'm a heretic because I'm going to do it
Probably
in this way? Most definitely. Everyone's going to have an opinion. As we saw on your Twitter post, everyone had a way that they felt about this. Where this gets kind of funny, because you're about to play an Evocation Wizard, and this is why we started thinking about this.
Yeah, for the first time, I am playing an Evocation Wizard, and I'm moving over from Artificers, so I feel super OP having all these spells. And as I was going through them, I noticed that one of these spells, you didn't have to roll to hit. And that is what prompted me to start doing so much research and going down this rabbit hole. And I'm so happy that we get to talk about how to actually use this spell. Can you tell me more about Empowered Evocation? Because I have the same question about that. Can you apply that to just 1 dart, multiply by all, or is this just 1 dart for 1 target? Or is it just 1 dart per target?
Maybe I just want to see the world burn. But again, as it's worded, let's say you have an 18 18 intelligence, so you got +4 modifiers, and that's what empowered evocations. That's what the ability allows you to do. You add your intelligence modifier to one roll of your damage that you do with an evocation spell. Well, as we've established, Magic Missile is one roll. You're rolling a 1d4. So you're rolling 1d4, getting a +1, and then maybe a +4 on top of that.
And then you multiply by all darts you get.
And then you multiply by the number of darts. So each one of those darts each one of those darts has that damage. And if you have them all go at one target, that is a swarm of force damage that there is no armor class that can stop it. And there is no like spell save of any kind. Now, obviously, monsters way higher up are not going to be that scared of a Magic Missile necessarily, but it is force damage, and that's very hard to resist.
Are there any counter spells to Magic Missile that I need to know about?
Well, I mean, there's counter spell, so that will do it. But yeah, no. But shield, specifically in the wording, which is also a first level spell. Increases your armor class by 5, which is fantastic. But also, it will block Magic Missile flat out.
Just flat out.
Yeah, just stops it. And that's the one spell that will like shut that down. Now, not everyone has shield. Like, not everyone's a caster, right? Again, it's your table. You decide how you want to do this. I expect, like I said, I think a lot of people are still going to roll their individual dice. But, Jeremy Crawford did chime in again, and rules as written, this is how it is. You're just doing a flat amount of force damage, and you're getting hit, and that is just how it's going to happen. Right. I think, I do love that Magic Missile is so controversial in this weird way, and everyone's got a different opinion, and that it's also like one of the most famous D&D spells.
Yeah, so it doesn't really seem to matter if you've been playing D&D for 20 years or you just started. Everybody has their own interpretation and their own preference, and I think both ways are fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you're Dungeon Master and you as player decide to cast Magic Missile and the damage is applied in a different way, that's fine. It's your table. This isn't necessarily game-breaking stuff.
Right.
I'm just amused by it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm going to do it. Doesn't mean I expect everyone else to do it that way as well. But I do love how weird this whole deal with Magic Missile and this ruling on damage and then applying empowered evocation to that as well is just kind of fun and hilarious to me for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. So.
Some people just like to see the world burn.
That would be me.
That would be you.
So.
Avern Initiative, everyone. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're really excited about doing this show together. It's something that we've been thinking about for a long time. So don't forget to be kind to each other. Have fun at your table. Rules as written is not something you necessarily have to abide by unless your DM wants you to.
Have a great day, everyone.